At some point in time, you've heard of Bernie Mac, whether it be from him doing comedy and the one that I know everyone's heard of, the original Kings of Comedy, or acted in many different movies and TV shows like Moesha, House Party 3, Life, Friday, Guess Who, and most notably, The Bernie Mac Show.
I don't mean to toot my own horn, America, but Bernie Mac's genius.
I was on YouTube and I seen that there was a pilot that was unaired for a show that he was going to be a part of, and it was called Starting Under. It was filmed the same year he passed away, which was in 2008. The description that I found online was that he's a recently divorced guy who moved in with his 20-something son who he happens to work for. Now the cast consisted of course, Bernie playing as the father, Bernard, his son, who's a sales manager, is being played by Burt Belasco. And the first show that I saw him in and that many of you may have heard of is called Let's Stay Together. Silvana, who was going to play as Rosa, Bernard's assistant, and next is the squad that Bernie was going to be working with. Ken Davidian was going to play as Ken, Andrea Parker was going to play as Gina, and there was a character named Todd, but I didn't see the actor listed. Bernie's daughter Janice had mentioned from her Facebook some stuff about the show, like how she was working for him and he was working to get her into the writing room. He said he knows that she loves to write and they're going to make sure that she gets paid to do that. In July of 2008, they were told that the show was picked up only as a mid-season replacement. I kind of didn't know about this, and for those that don't know, a mid-season replacement takes place after a show that was in the fall schedule was canceled or put on hiatus. I do think this show had the potential to be more than that, and it could have been popular. Fans of Bernie Mac, new or old, they would have been excited to see him in another show. Sadly, as I mentioned earlier, Bernie Mac had passed away, so they weren't able to continue the show. And in 2020, Burt Belasco had passed away, RIP to the both of them. I will say it was cool that Bernie wanted his daughter to write for the show. Different interviews that I seen him talking about different stuff, he just seemed like a nice person overall. And him just making sure that his family is good and trying to give his daughter an opportunity for her to show her skills, it was nice to hear. Either way, Bernie Mac's daughter Janice is doing good. She has the Bernie Mac's Daughters podcast. She's a writer and a speaker. Shout out to her. I will say, based on the pilot, I could see it was capable of being a fun show to watch. If you want to check out the episodes yourself, it will be linked in the description to the video and the channel Rare Gems. I like the comedy in the show. It did make me laugh. Even in the beginning, you hear people leaving messages, and one of them is his ex-wife who, let's just say, they are not on good terms. His talks with his son, you could tell Bernie is more, I guess you say, extroverted, while his son seems a little more closed off. Bernard could open up a little bit more to those around him. He did a little bit, and I think we might have seen the both of them balance each other out and learn from each other. The co-workers, I gotta say, they got some personality, and they would have sprinkled in some comedy throughout the show in some of the different situations. There was a moment where Bernard asked Bernie if he saw him as a man now. He does, even though he said he's a different kind of man. He said that, but you could tell he's proud of his son. It would have been an interesting part of the story seeing him watch his son continue to grow. Overall, I think this could have been a good show and something that added to the many things that Bernie Mac has done and could have been one of the things that he acted in that we go back to and watch to this day. If y'all watched the pilot or never heard of it before, comment below. Also, here's another video talking about a show that was unaired. It was actually Bow Wow's show.